This is Kasha. I am a guidance counselor who has last names G-O-V through L. Who wants to go next?
I am Mrs. Lamb. I am guidance counselor and I have last name M through S-H-A.
I'm Mr. Stiver, guidance counselor, students with last names S-H-E through Z.
Nico Flores, assistant principal, G-O-V through L.
Michael Martinez, assistant principal, A through G-O-U.
Right. So hopefully you guys have all watched your presentation that we recorded, so you are aware of kind of information about the process, classes for next year that you will be eligible to take. So we are here to answer questions that you may have. We will do our best to answer as many questions as possible, obviously with 340 students. You know, like I said, we'll do our best, but if you have a very specific question about a unique situation you are in, it may make sense for you to reach out to your guidance counselor directly. You know, we're here to answer some general questions, but again, if we don't get to your question or if we're not able to answer it right now for whatever reason, please reach out to your guidance counselor.
And before we start officially, we had our A through GOU guidance counselor come on in. Monique, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ms. Ballantyne, and I am a guidance counselor here. I have students with the last name A through GOU. Is that it? Am I supposed to say something funny about myself?
Yeah, we all shared a fun fact. So go ahead and share your fun fact.
Yeah, you didn't share a fun fact, but that's okay. Fun fact, my cat is walking around and she may decide to show up.
Okay. She has to introduce herself too. Okay. The first question we got, which might have been typed and answered, is where can you find the presentation? So I'm actually, I'm gonna do something cool. I'm gonna share my screen with you all right now. So if you go onto the Monte Vista website right now, there's actually a pop-up that is coming up about course selection. If you click on it, it will take you to this page on the website. It is actually, if you can see, it's highlighted black in the guidance and student support top up here. If you click on guidance and student support, you can get to high school planning and course selection. That's where you will go. You can see the February 10th course info fair, the course selection guide. And these are the classes that the entire district offers, not all of which are offered at Monte Vista. You can see, click on what courses we will actually be offering next year. And next to those courses are grade levels. So you can see, as a sophomore, will I be eligible to take this course? And then you can click on all of these different incoming, class of 2000, actually, obviously that's not you. So you guys would click on class of 2024. Watch here, presentation slides. So this is the presentation right here that we recorded about just your class and classes for next year. You can see, obviously, the webinar time that you guys are in right now, and that we will be hosting a parent one tonight. So all of the information for course selection is on the website here on this page. So again, there's a pop-up on the website if you go to it, and that will take you directly to this page. Okay. How will the course selection form be filled out this year, and when do we have to do so? Any takers?
I can answer that. So there is a K-12 form online that is due by March 5th. So that is when your course selection form is due, March 5th. That's part of the process. The second part of the process is you will actually need to go into your Infinite Campus account and also input your courses. And Mr. Martinez can help me out with the Infinite Campus portal when it opens and closes. I believe it opens February 11th.
11th, that's correct.
And it closes also on March 5th, the same time the form is due. So have March 5th in your mind. That's when both your K-12 form is due, as well as putting your courses into the Infinite Campus portal.
And if you are having trouble logging into the Infinite Campus portal because you have never done so before, it is, I'm going to share my screen again. Oh man, I should have all the things up today. Hold on. Maybe I can share my screen if I can find this document. You guys are great for bearing with me as I sort through my technology here. Okay, I'm going to share this. So Okay, so this is what it'll look like when you go to log into your Infinite Campus. Your student username is the first portion of your email. So whatever it is before the @ sign, so it's usually the first letter of your first name and your last name and some numbers. So that is what you use as your username, and your password is the same password that you use for your FUHSD email. So this is what you would use to log into Infinite Campus to choose your classes, okay? And we can actually post this in Schoology and share it with you guys too.
Mr. Martinez, I'm seeing some question in the chat about how students can access the K-12 form.
Yeah, so we'll be posting those forms on our website. We'll also put them in the Schoology. So they'll be up here pretty quickly. We want to make sure that students have kind of seen videos, gone through some Q&A sessions, and then as we get close to the portal opening, we'll have all those links available for you to access.
All right, there's a question about differences between World Studies and Core. So there is no longer Core. So you have World Studies, which is the combo class, which an English and a history teacher, they team teach the course. So it's a 2-period combination course. It's larger. You have about 60 kids in the class. There's a lot of collaboration, group work, and presentation. And then there's your traditional separate, you'll take world literature and world history. So you can choose between the two. So it's either world literature and world history, or world studies, which is the combo class.
There's a question about pros and cons between AP Physics 1 and Chem Honors. Okay, so Chem Honors is an accelerated high school course. So if you don't have any experience with chemistry, it is still an introductory chemistry course, but it is going to move at a faster pace. So it's going to cover more material in a shorter period of time, meaning the regular chem class could be on chapter 1 and the Chem Honors class could be on chapter 3 or 4. And I'm just like guessing, but so it moves quicker. AP Physics 1 is a college level physics course. So if you have no experience in physics, you are jumping from zero knowledge to college level. So it is going to move even faster than an honors course, and it is going to cover a lot of content. Being completely transparent, AP Physics 1 is the science class that most sophomores struggle in, because normally students will take biology their freshman year, they'll take chem, high school level chem or high school level physics their sophomore year, and then they will take the AP levels. So they'll take AP Bio, which is great because they've already had freshman bio. So they've already been exposed and learned bio. Or they'll take AP Chem, which is great because they've already taken high school level chem. So you are jumping into a college level course without any prior, physics experience. And that is very challenging for a lot of sophomores. So something to think about. Obviously, physics is going to be more math heavy than chemistry is. And it's going to be the physics class, the AP physics class is going to take a lot more time outside of school.
I'd also like to jump in on this one. There are a lot of questions about specific classes, which is great. We want you to ask those specific course questions. The course information fair is on February 10th, and that is an opportunity for you to reach out and visit each one of the departments. So you can talk to the English teacher about, world core or, world literature. You can talk to the social science teacher about world history or world studies. You can visit the math department and talk math. You can do science and get to hear all of those really intricate details about the course specifics. Today, we want to really concentrate on just general course selection questions. So we may not answer your specific questions, but I'm starting to see like a 7th period. I'm starting to see like G credit. I saw 1 year of econ, government, and Java. Those are great questions to ask in this session so that we can really steer you in the right direction. So with that, there was a question about to graduate, I need 1 year of art, 2 years of world language, I'm assuming, and then 1 year of econ, gov, and Java. So does a guidance counselor want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, so in order to graduate, and we'll review this with you every year, we go through the transcripts in the spring, we make sure you're on target for graduation. So If you look onto the guidance website, actually, we have a chart that shows what are the high school graduation requirements and what are the college admissions requirements. So to graduate, you do need what's called the 2 out of the 3, which are the selective electives, which is in the fine art, applied, and the world language. You pick 2 out of the 3 categories. And so you're not just looking at that. When you look at the chart, you also want to look at what's the college admissions requirement. And so you're looking to compare both, and that's how you would build your 4-year plan. So I think the question you're asking has to do with the selective elective requirements. You do need to complete 2 out of the 3.
I wanted to answer a question. Someone had a question about PE dance and kind of how it can double dip credit wise. So PE dance will always count as PE credit at Monte Vista. It's a physical education class, great class if you want to learn how to dance, very fun course. The added kind of bonus to that class is you can actually input it on your college applications because it counts as a visual and performing arts class for colleges. Normally, when it comes to college applications, you're not putting PE courses on the college apps. This one for PE dance, you can, because it does satisfy that visual and performing arts requirement while also meeting the PE, while also giving you PE credits at Monte Vista.
All right, there's a question about color guard, dance, or 2 sports. Yes, does that fulfill PE credits? So starting sophomore, so for freshman year, PE 9 counts under your PE requirements, your PE credits. And then for sophomore year, if you do the color guard or PE dance or 2 sports, 1 sport equals 5 credits. So if you do 2 sports, that'll equate to 10 credits. Yes, you'll be able to fulfill your PE requirements. So if I take an oh, okay.
I know sometimes you're like, I'm going to answer this.
Yeah.
What is your chance of receiving your 7th choice as a sophomore? Is it different compared to when we were freshmen? So it's all a 7th anytime depends on if there is space in that class. So whatever you're choosing, if there's space in that course and if it fits into your schedule. So what we're going to do is for every student, no matter what their grade level is, we prioritize those top 6 courses that you choose. So we will get you those 6 courses. And then we can go through and say, okay, that 7th class that you offered, that you asked for, is there space in it and does it fit in your schedule? And honestly, a lot of times, maybe one of those, like, yes, there's space in it, but it won't fit in your schedule with those other 6 classes, or it'll fit in your schedule, but it's full and we can't add you to it. So those 2 things have to be able to happen in order for you to get that 7th class. And I don't know if Mr. Martinez knows roughly, but I know that last year, like this year especially, and last year we weren't able to honor a lot of requests for 7th courses.
Yeah, that's true.
Classes are getting full. So
yeah, they're getting full. It's really based on space and availability. So you said it's really a class you can live with or live without. So making sure that the top 6 are the classes you really want to make sure that you get into your schedule. We try to honor the 7th choices as much as we can, but those are really based on space and availability.
And prioritizing the classes that you know you need for graduation, the classes that you know you need for college eligibility, if that's your plan. Sometimes we'll say students like, oh, I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to maybe put my language class as my 7th and put like my Java class in my top 6. I really want that. And there is a good chance that while you might get the Java class that you really want, then you're missing out on that language class, which you might need for college. So please be really thoughtful about choosing the courses that you know that you're going to need over the ones that you might necessarily want but aren't needed.
All right, engineering design comes under the D category for those of us who took it this year. Is it under the science or electives? So on our transcript, we're just going to code them under your electives. You'll see it as under a D. It's really for college purposes. So when you're applying to colleges during your senior year, when you fill out the application, you are going to list the engineering under the D science category.
Okay, we're getting a lot of questions about sports. So information just came out recently about sports, the schedules and seasons and shorter seasons. And I know that Mr. Bonacorsi, our athletic director, is, putting that information out there. That there's now 3 seasons and sports going on. but we have to be in certain tiers in the county in order for those to happen. The district is talking about still being able to honor PE credit for those sports. Obviously, because you guys are all in PE this year, you would not even get PE for what's happening right now. So if you were able to participate in any sport in this like abridged kind of weird 3-season, like 1 month long stuff, you would just get elective credit for this year anyway. So talking about sports for next year, and hopefully we are on campus, sports are back, everything is better, and you do participate in a sport. If you take a PE class, again, you will just get elective credit for the sport. But if you are not taking a PE class next year and you are just playing a sport, you will get 5 credits per season of a sport. So if you play maybe football in the fall, that's 5 credits towards your PE. So then you'd have 10 from this year, 5 from football, and you would need to do 1 more season of a sport and you would finish your PE. If you say play 2, like maybe you're on track and field and cross country, then next year, if you do both of those, that's 10 credits in addition to the 10 you earned this year. So after next year, you would be done with your PE credit. So again, you guys are not eligible for PE credit this year or for sport credit because you're in PE, but you will be eligible for athletic PE credit moving forward as long as everything goes back to normal with athletics for next year.
All right, can marching band or color guard for 2 semesters count towards PE and not have to do PE? Yeah, so if you're gonna do marching band and or color guard, you know, repeatedly year after year, that's gonna count as your PE credits. That's totally fine.
A good question in here. Can I take 2 applied academics such as Java and law at the same time? Yes, you can. So I know we say you can't take 2 courses in the same curricular department. So even though they're both applied academic courses, Java and law, they're in different departments. One's the business department, the other one, Java's, I guess, more math department, computer science. So those are 2 different departments. So you can do that even though they're both applied academics. What you can't do is something like take physics and chemistry at the same time because they're both in the science department, right? You can't take photography and 3D design at the same time. They're both in the art department. So stuff like that.
Where might I find the A through G requirements for college?
Good question, Mr. Flores. So we actually had them listed in the video. Hopefully you all watched the course selection video because they're right there in the video. If you did not see the video, please go watch it. It is also listed on our guidance page. If you go to the Monte Vista homepage and you click on guidance and student support, it's definitely in there, the A through G requirements. It's all over every presentation we ever do. So you can literally go to any presentation we've done and find them in there as well.
You go on the guidance and student support tab. You can go to high school planning on the right-hand side here. And then or college and career planning, sorry. Actually, I take it back. I should have looked at this beforehand. I'm a hot mess. Okay, sorry. Okay, you can see high school graduation and college requirements, and then you can see all of the credits and what you need here. So on the guidance and counseling part of the website, we have all of this posted. All right. So many questions.
So there's a question up here in terms of application, audition courses and having a backup. So you'll see on your course request form, if you're auditioning for a course, you'll be asked a course as a backup if you don't get in there. So if you do want to have a backup course and not have an empty class period, you'll be able to make that request on your course request form.
Questions about honors and AP classes. Honors as well as AP classes, both of them give you an extra grade bump for your GPA in terms of a weighted GPA. So at Monte Vista, we do not weigh GPAs. Our district does not. So the highest, if you got A's in every class, a 4.0 is the highest GPA that you will have. If you chose to take honors or AP classes because it makes sense for you, not because you're trying to do what your peers are doing, you do get an extra grade bump. So calculating a weighted GPA, you know, an A is normally 4 points. If you get an 8 in honors or an AP class, it's worth 5 points. So there is a little bit of a GPA boost for a weighted GPA for honors and AP courses.
Ms. Kasha, there was a question in here about AVID. It was
It's a wonderful
what is the AVID? What is the AVID program about? So I don't know if you want to give just like a quick rundown about it.
I actually posted in Schoology for all students that we have some space open in our current AVID classes. So I posted the link to the presentation and the application, and we're actually having a Q&A student and parent night next Thursday, I believe, from 6 to 7. Had to check my calendar. So if you want more information, happy to, have you join. It's basically a class that will support you in different ways. It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. So it's a program for students who want to improve, whether it's in their academics, college preparedness. We kind of cover a lot of different things every year. There's, different kind of skills. Freshman year, we talk more about basic high school skills, test taking strategies, study strategies, organization, kind of an introductory to high school, who your supports are. You are in the same class with the same students and same teacher every year. So you start in AVID 9 traditionally, you go with the same class and the same teacher to AVID 10, 11, and 12. Usually our classes are full, but this year we've had some space. So if you are interested in joining AVID, we would love for you to come to the info session next Thursday night, hear more information, watch the presentation. And you can always reach out to me directly if you have questions, and I'm happy to answer them.
Can someone talk to the group about how, what classes count as elective credit? Because it can be confusing because there's a big bucket at the bottom of their transcript, but at the same time, lots of classes count.
Yeah, so general rule of thumb is, so you look at what's required to graduate in the specific subject area first, and then anything above that can all fall into your elective category. So for example, it says, if you see on your transcript, it says 70 elective credits. And some might say, oh, how am I going to earn all of those 70 elective credits? But it's quite easy. So for example, you're only required 2 years of a science, but let's say you take 4 years. Those additional 2 years will fall under your general elective credits. Another example would be math. You're only required 2 years, but let's say you take 4 years. So the additional 2 years for math will also fall under your elective category. So kind of rule of thumb is anything above what's required will spill into your elective category.
There's another question about the difference between selective electives and normal electives. So the selective electives are those 3 categories: fine art, world language, and applied academics. But we do have a handful of other electives that are kind of general electives that don't fit into those. That would be AVID, for example, TA, student tutor, what is it? In the class they have in the foreign language classes, I can't think of it, but like a language tutor. So there are certain
Bilingual tutor. Yeah.
Bilingual tutor. I'm like, I can't think of the name of it. So there are a couple electives that we have, and like PE athletics, like that will count as PE credit. But if you've hit all your PE credits, then it just counts as general elective credit. So there's a couple classes and things that you can do that fall into general electives that are not into those 3 categories.
I saw a question, how do we sign up to meet with our guidance counselor to discuss the courses that we take? Really, really good question. Number one, you can always email us directly. All of our information is on the Monte Vista website, or you can message us on Schoology. I believe all of us also have appointment links on the website as well, which you can just schedule an appointment straight up. Multiple ways to get in touch with us. We want to hear from you if you have questions, so please don't hesitate to reach out. If you really just don't know how, just email us and we'll be in touch with you and can help you out any way that we can.
And just as a little information piece to that, please know that each guidance counselor has hundreds of students. So we have students reaching out, parents, other emails, and obviously we have a lot going on with course selection right now. So if you email us, know that we got it. We will get back to you, but just please give us a little bit of patience and know that it might take a few days for us to respond to your email because we are getting inundated with emails, especially now that it's course selection. So we will get back to you as soon as we can, and just give us a little patience.
Also, we all have office hours that you can attend. For my friends in the A through GOU, in your courses in Schoology, you have a separate one just for me, and all of the information, the appointment link and the office hours Zoom link is in there.
Can
think
one
that-
of you talk through the difference between freshman year and sophomore year now that social science will be in there and the potential impact it may have on the availability of other elective courses?
Sure. So a couple of things actually, Mr. Flores, too. Just I see a lot of questions still about world studies and
Yeah.
world history, world lit. There is no world core anymore. It's going away. So you have two options. You have world studies, which is literature and history combined into two class periods, getting credit for both lit and history. The other option is having world lit and world history, just completely separate. Two independent classes, independent teachers, kind of traditional classroom setting. I believe what you're saying, Mr. Flores, is it's an additional academic course you're going to have next year with history. You do have to take it, whether it's world studies or world lit, world history. So obviously you want to take that into account, as that's going to be an additional homework class in your schedule. And it's an additional class. So depending on, your course selections, please make sure you put in your top 6, those courses you want to have. That 7th course is only added based on availability. So it needs to be a class that you can live without for that 7th choice, okay? Do not assume you're gonna get that 7th class. If anything, assume you're not gonna get it. So please make sure you're, making those choices wisely when you're putting in those top 6 classes. I think that was your question, Ms. Flores.
I think another thing to really consider and think about is just your overall load for your sophomore year and the extracurricular activities that you want to have on your plate, and to ensure that you are maintaining balance in your schedule. So you do have the added world history, but what if you take on another rigorous course as well, and then you also play a sport and you have extracurriculars? So, we want you to keep in mind the overall picture and look broadly in terms of what you have on your plate, and just to make sure that you're not overextending yourself for next year. There's been a lot of questions about outside classes and do we post them onto our Monta Vista transcript? We don't post any enrichment or a lot of questions about geometry. We don't post that onto our high school transcript. So that'll stay separate. If you've taken the algebra and the geometry prior to coming in, that'll stay on your middle school transcript. That doesn't come onto the Monta Vista transcript. You'll self-report those classes when you apply for colleges during your senior year.
All right, we are at our time. So guidance counselors, I'm going to get you off and ready for your next presentation with sophomores. And again, 9th graders, your questions are fabulous. I will stay on and do my best to answer them. You can stay on as well. I may not answer them live. I may do it via type, but we do appreciate you all coming, 350 some odd of you. Taking the time to really ask some really thoughtful questions says a lot about who you are and what you're trying to do with your high school career. So congratulations on being responsible and advocating for yourself. And guidance counselors and Mr. Martinez, thanks for being here. And we'll see you in a couple